Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Procraft. This is actually being streamed live during Showcraft. Showcraft within Procraft. Some craftception going on here. We must go deeper. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to bring you a game of drones, aka Liquid TLO. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Zerg to the southwest of this. Sorry, I'm just practicing a little bit of my Zerg. I'm going to be going over to Zergland a little bit later. I'm going to take a trip over to Char. Seems like a fairly reasonable plan as far as I'm concerned. A bit of a holiday destination, a little bit of warm, because of course it's very cold and grey this time of year. So I've got to Char, I'm practicing my Zerg there. So this is on which is in fact Shakura's Plateau in the Zergish tongue, versus his opponent, Virus Wibang, which I think is an awesome name. Wibang! That actually could be a rapper name. Honestly, it really could be a rapper name. Some people were making comments in the chat that, oh, you know, this is going to be TLO sounds like a rapper name. No, I think Wibang is more of a hip-hop name. That would be awesome. Absolutely. The Wibang clan. It works. TLO, as you may or may not have been aware, you certainly should be by this point, switched to Zerg again. He doesn't like Protoss, actually. I was listening to some interviews with him. He really does not like Protoss at all. But he does like Zerg. I've got Wibang over here, who's going to be building the barracks down to the bottom here. Usually a couple of reasons for that. Either you want to get really hyper-aggressive with, say, a Macarax, a proxy barracks, but that's not going to happen now because that's actually too late. So what he's going to do is going to create the wall off at the bottom, which will allow him to expand fairly rapidly. Also allows him to apply a bit of pressure from the position that he's currently in, which is pretty good. TLO, on the other hand, will be scanning with an Overlord and will be going with a hatchery on 14 supply, followed by the spawning pool. Very standard way of dealing with Terran. Didn't used to be. People used to get really scared of bunkers, and that's not really the case anymore. Zergs have figured out how to deal with bunker rushes fairly effectively, and only really well-executed bunkers can do the job. Or, of course, very bad executed defenses. Both of those work. Keep an eye on Wibang's resources, and we'll see what he's going to do there. You'll notice that he's actually bound his Marine over there, but looks like, yeah, TLO should be able to get out of there in time. No problem at all with that Overlord. He knows the times. This is the kind of nice thing about having played random at a Grandmasters level and also then playing an awful lot of Terran, is that you know what kind of nonsense is going to be coming your way. You know the exact timings as well. What it may screw up, however, is he did spot that, as you can see, but if he hadn't scouted there, then that might have confused him somewhat. But he did send a drone in as well, so it doesn't really matter too much. Now that's interesting. Notice, okay, I was going to say he's doing that to trick him. What he's actually doing is taking it so that he can't steal the gas. He then cancelled out of it and then went back into it again, which is a very small use of resources there. It doesn't really matter too much. In the meantime, drones coming from this particular game of drones, which when you play, you win or you die. Have a little bit of a poke at that SCV, get it out of the way. No problems at all. Worker count is what you would expect at this stage of the game, really. He needs to get his 2 queens out. The worker count will start to accelerate rapidly once he's able to double inject here. In the meantime, creating a wall-off here with 3 barracks, which is a very durable wall-off. That's basically baneling-proof. Also allows you to apply an awful lot of pressure. And if you go from factory directly through to medevacs, you can go with a really strong bio push. Unpleasant stuff, potentially. With double gas taken, doesn't really... Well, it indicates, of course, that you want to do something like that. There you go. So it will most likely be a Marine Marauder medevac-based push at the moment. Hasn't built too many units as of yet. Interestingly, hasn't expanded either. It's showing no signs of it, so this is going to be a really aggressive opening here from Wibang. Oh my god, that's a double port. This is a very odd variation, honestly. I'm trying to figure out what this would be. Double port? Oh, but there's the cancel on the port, thinking, what the hell? I see, right, so he cancels the port, and he was probably going to put the port down elsewhere. So, we're going to be seeing, what, Marine Viking Banshee, maybe? No, Marine Hellion Banshee, in fact. There you go, Tetlab going down on there. Went to build that, immediately cancels it. So it'll be a 2-port Banshee backed up by Marines and Hellions on the ground. Could be quite unpleasant. It's a nasty 1-base build here. Also notice the number of queens that TLO has. TLO actually already has 4 queens, which is a nice decision as it turns out. Allows for a ton of creep spread and control, which is going to be vital against this upcoming attack here. Very powerful 1-base build here from Wibang. Funnily enough, not building any Marines whatsoever at the moment, which is fairly unusual. Assuming, of course, he doesn't just go for a full-on two-port Banshee and just continue to batter his way through there, which is a possibility. Now, TLO knows that there is a starport there. There's a swap around for two-port Banshee play with Cloak as well. But he's not been building Marines this entire game, so this is going to just be pure Banshee for the moment, and then he can transition out of that later if he so desires. But two-port Banshee is an interesting one. It's something that I used to see only about 6 months ago. It became quite popular. Lau from the UK used to do it an awful lot. It's quite powerful, potentially. If you get enough Banshees, then you can overwhelm Spore Crawler-based defenses, which might end up happening here, considering there's only 2 Spore Crawlers down, which actually concerns me quite a bit. TLO, however, does have 4 Queens, and potentially a lot of Transfuse energy there as well. That creep spread is absolutely fantastic, but he hasn't taken the 3rd base yet. Why is he not taking the 3rd base? Well, because he knows his opponent doesn't have a 2nd base. He's seen too many buildings for that to be the case. Now, the question is, what is he going to do from here on in? Command Center is now coming up for that base, and then he'll expand. His economy is looking really, really solid, but the question is, does he have enough to deal with 4, it might even be 6 Banshees by the time this comes in, and he's only just started teching to Lair, so his Spire and, of course, a Hydra Den is way, way off, so relying entirely on Spore Crawlers and 4 Queens. He needs to get a little bit more scouting information in, but he doesn't actually have any Overlords in position to make that happen. I believe because he saw a Viking building, he didn't want to move in any more Overlords, and unfortunately, that was not actually a Viking. That was a little bit of a fake out right there from Wibang. In the meantime, Wibang has still built no ground forces whatsoever. There's going to be pure two-port Banshee, no crazy variation or anything like that, and then expand on that. I mean, what you might see potentially is two-port Banshee with Marines. If you don't want to expand, you're just going to go all in on one base, but he does want to expand after this, and he does want to have something going on, but finally we see Marines coming out, 2 more Banshees as well, and now moving across the map. Are these Overlords in a good position to spot them coming in? Well, the first wave has already come in right now, 3 Banshees there, but 4 Queens pulled back and transfused energy available. We've also got +1 missile attack, which is going to prove to be very useful in about 20 seconds time. Once that kicks in, that's going to cause a few problems. Unfortunately, no Overseer available just yet. That's a nice snipe right there by Wibang, taking down one of those Queens, and this is a real problem. The spawning pool goes down, then ground force is going to be difficult to repulse here. Moving in, does he have the Overseer? He's got the Overseer morphing right now. Needs to be really, really careful with that. There's the Transfuse. The Overseer is now in play. Roach Warren is up, so we've lost the spawning pool, so no Lings on the ground, but he does have at least the ability to produce some of that. He needs to get out of there, and Wibang not actually paying attention. Could have sniped that off a little bit earlier, but still, that is too many Banshees to be repulsed by that many Queens. Got to be really, really careful here. Ventral Sax upgrade coming in as well, which is really interesting, and a Spire coming down, which is going to be instantly sniped off by those Banshees, so that shouldn't be a problem. He's going to have to cancel that almost immediately. More Banshees coming in right here for Wibang, and TLO in quite a lot of trouble as the cancel forced, and we're on 5 Banshees right now. That Queen's nowhere near enough. Focusing fight almost takes the Banshee down, but it's not quite enough, and the Evolution Chamber being taken out as well. This is looking nasty right here for TLO, and it's going to be very difficult to repulse. Needs to bring it out some more Spore Crawlers. And the thing is, the Banshee count's going to get to such a ridiculous amount that things are going to get really, really difficult for TLO here. What we can say is that he hasn't taken a huge amount of economic damage yet, but he will quite shortly. Another Evolution Chamber here being sniped off by those Banshees. It's going to be 6 on the field, looking for 8. Just got a lot more Marines as well to push forward. But he does have a lot of Roaches coming out, which is an interesting decision here by TLO. With the Ventral Sax upgrade, could be going for a base train, just dropping directly into the base there. Unfortunately, Stim will be done, so I'm not entirely sure how effective that's going to be. Roach Warren now taken out by that as well, and he's got to get the Mutas out. He must get this Spire up. The question is, where is he putting it up? Where is he hiding the Spire? Spire is not there. That's where the spawning pool is. Spire is right in the center here. It's got to be taken out before it completes, and that's really, really difficult right now for TLO. A lot of fire coming down from Wibang from this 2-port Banshee approach, and it looks like TLO's just going to try and bust his way through here, but there's a lot of Marines available. He doesn't have Medivacs. That's one saving grace, and Roaches trade really well with Marines as long as there's no Medivacs on the field. Banshee's now moving over to the 3rd base right now, and that will likely be destroyed. There's even a 4th base up to the top, and TLO's got to do damage right now. If he's going to go for he could go for a drop here, actually. He could bypass those defenses entirely, go right into the main of Wibang. Not a lot of ground forces, purely Marines. 8 Banshees in the meantime, working their way through. They're completely annihilating that base. At least he keeps his lair up. Roach Warren in the mix as well, and this is exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be an elevation into the main base with these roaches. The Ventral Sax upgrade, a good choice considering. And here we go. Let's see if he's got enough roaches in order to break this. Good micro control right there, allowing him to sacrifice one as he snipes off yet more buildings. Looking for a surrounding there. Wibang is now supply blocked. Very important move, and a big push here as well. +1/+1 upgrades. That's something you should consider. He did go double evolution chamber. He was able to get the Carapace upgrade as well, forcing the Banshees all the way back. He doesn't have burrow, so these roaches will die. Question is, how much damage did he really do right here? Able to pick a lot of those roaches off, in fact. If he can grab a lot of those roaches and get away, then he'll be in a great position. There we go. Of course, Banshees can't do anything about that, and off go the Overlords. Really nice move there by TLO. However, he didn't do a lot of economic damage. He delayed the command center, he sniped off a few supplies, but didn't really make a huge amount of difference. He's got to get the Spire up. That's what really mattered. He was able to draw the Banshees back using this drop, and now he can get Mutas on the field, which means all these Banshees die, and that's a huge, huge investment for Wibang. Needs, of course, to get an Overseer out there as well, but he does already have one, and he's got Overseer speed as well, so that's going to be really, really handy for him. In the meantime, did this hatchery actually go unscouted? Yes, it did. Sneaky maneuver there by TLO to expand to the top. Good counter to the amount of harassment that's been coming in. 2 Vikings now coming out, and that's not going to be enough to deal with the number of Mutas that are coming in his direction, and more roaches ready to drop. This is looking really quite nice here for TLO, having taken a huge amount of punishment. Holding off 8 Banshees is very, very impressive indeed. Now with the Spire out, things are going to get very, very messy for Wibang very, very quickly, and here goes the game of drones. He wants to win. He's not a big fan of dying right now. He will be able to pick these up very, very rapidly as well. Huge economic damage being inflicted right here by TLO. And the Banshee's not doing as well as you might think. They are going up against +2 armor, so they're only doing 10 damage a hit here. And there's the quick pickup as well, and they have no answer to that. And now the Mutas are on the way. If he's able to draw those Banshees out of position, have the Mutalisk snipe off the Banshees, then he'll be in a great situation. However, he doesn't have an answer to that cloak yet. Needs to bring an Overseer in immediately. Lots of cloaking energy, plenty available here. In the meantime, the economic situation for TLO is looking really good. He has expanded up to the top, as I said before, and he's re-expanded here as well. And that roach aggression has done a lot of damage to Wibang, who is now contained on 2 bases. Full map control in the hands of TLO, which is not exactly what you would have necessarily expected at this stage. Things are looking really, really good for our Zerg hero at the moment. 8 Banshees, but no real answer to 9 Mutalisks that are coming in right now. 2 more on the way as well. Sniping off a supply depot because, hey, why not? And those Banshees are stuck in the base. They're worried of roaches coming in. What a great strategy. It's not something you often see as a big counter, to be honest, and something you might want to consider doing. Some craziness coming in from TLO right now. Marines on the ground. Upgrade count, very, very low. Does he have combat shield? Yes, he does. Looking for +1, which he'll have momentarily. He could actually snipe off that, but he wants to deny this base. And look at that, freebies coming in. Once again, in the spirit of the season, and a burrow as well, forcing a scan out, which of course is a pain in the ass on that many bases. Overseer being morphed in very, very quickly. It does Wibang, surely Wibang notices that. Uh-oh. Friends coming in, but Wibang now moving into intercept with those Marines. Significant damage now having been done to Wibang. Significant economic advantage for TLO. Gas, 8 gas, in fact, that he's got in total. And once more, picking off units here and there. Grabbing a medevac. Not enough medevacs really in the air to support that number of Marines. There's the stim to try and catch the Overseer. That won't happen. Overseer will be able to get away from that. Looking for the interception right there, and there he goes, diving over that cliff. He really cut that one fine. He really did. That almost gave me a heart attack. It's like, oh, my prediction that it was going to get away was actually false, because TLO missed micro. No, TLO doesn't miss micro. What are you talking about? Wibang, on the other hand, actually has a very scary-looking ground force at the moment, but there are Infestors coming out in order to deal with this large Marine count. Look at that. That's quite a threatening force coming in. 8 Banshees, a lot of Marines, +1/+1 upgrades in as well. He does have the same upgrade count as TLO. TLO's about to kick in with +2 Carapace. Really does not want this attack to happen now. But a great grab with the Infestors. Can he clean up? Needs to do damage. He snipes off the weakened Banshees right there and is able to dodge and avoid that. Almost gets that one as well. And another big fungal on both groups here. And the Roaches now coming in to finish that off. Is the medevac count high enough? It is. But there's a lot of fungal growths available right there. A lot of damage being done. But the Mutalisks have been cleaned up. Definitely a concern here, because he doesn't actually have answers to the Banshees right now. Needs to grab them with the Infestors, and his Infestor count is fairly high. Infestor being eliminated almost immediately. He, of course, needs to be burrowing out of the way. More damage being done. If he can nail down that group of Banshees with enough fungal growth. Transfuse going. A lot of Queens on the ground right now. Needs to get those Infestors out of the way. There's the burrow. And a continued follow-up with many Queens. Left side, even side. Huge damage being done. And the Banshees are now out of the air. Excellent defense here by TLO, sitting currently on 10 Queens, an entirely standard build for the one and only bearded German. Yes, indeed, he is the only bearded German that I know. Oh, quick pick up and go. Really nice micro right there by TLO. Picking up a Queen, dropping it down again to save it from the Marines. And now with full map control, an excellent economic advantage over Wibang. TLO is indeed crazy. However, he must stop this base. There's a lot of mules coming down. He's got to smash his way through, and Wibang is starting to fortify. 30 Marines on the field, but here come the Roaches to try and break their way through. If he can stop those bunkers going up, that will be very, very helpful right here. And he does. He's able to stop both and now makes his way into the mineral line. Wants to try and focus fire on to these mules right here. Infestor follow-up right there. A really nice grab as they try to escape to the safety of the bunkers. It's not going to happen. GG, ladies and gentlemen. What a comeback right there from TLO. An incredible game, honestly. So many Banshees. What's the answer to that? Apparently, it's ventral sacks. Who knew? And 10 Queens, of course. Let's not forget that. TLO proving once again that he is a Zerg master. Honestly, great play. Extremely entertaining, highly unorthodox stuff. And 2-bot Banshee apparently does not work against TLO. There you go, folks. You've been watching Procraft, and of course, all of the revenue from this cast goes to the team that submitted the replay. So, Team Liquid gets that. This is Team Liquid Fortnite. We're casting a bunch of exclusive Team Liquid replays, and my God, TLO is hilarious.